Are you an Amazon seller who's been selling on Amazon for a while? Maybe thinking of quitting, maybe thinking of just calling quits, maybe just thinking of dropping the ball and going back to a 9 to 5. Or maybe you're someone who's thinking of getting into Amazon. You haven't made the jump yet, but you also don't want to get too deep into it because you're scared about quitting. You think that you won't make it. Well, guess what? On this video, I'm going to go over exactly why most Amazon sellers will quit within their first year. All right. So be sure to stay tuned. Be sure to check out the video, drop a comment down below, smash the like button, and let me know what you guys think into the video. And without further ado, stop wasting time. So just a quick, brief, summary of the game. When it comes to selling on Amazon, it is a simple model, but it has so many, tricks, so many lessons, so many losses that you need to learn within your first year. And the truth is that many sellers, I say probably 80 to 90% of Amazon sellers, will quit within their first year, and especially after Q4, aka quarter four, which is the end of the year. Especially when you go into a new year, you get your taxes, you look at your total sales, your total profits for the previous year, and so it can be very discouraging. But here are some of the few reasons why that is and why sellers will quit after their first year. And please, I don't make this video to sound negative or trying to prevent people from getting into the game. Not at all. I mean, these are just accurate facts that most people will quit this Amazon business. But again, let's jump straight into the top reasons why most Amazon sellers will quit. So one of the first reasons is that most Amazon sellers that get into this game, they don't end up enjoying the business model. Okay. And listen, you've heard that motto, right? You got to enjoy what you love in order to, continue on. And this statement could be so much accurate when it comes to this business model, right? Because when it comes to this business model, there's a lot of ins and outs and a lot of work that comes in the beginning that a lot of you may not be accustomed to and a lot of you may not actually enjoy, okay? And so if you're not enjoying this business model, well, then you're going to end up burning out. You're going to end up quitting. And the next thing you know, you're no longer doing this, okay? It just happens. It's perfectly normal. Personally, I believe that if you did try this business model, you gave it a shot and you realized it wasn't for you, then that's even better, because at least then you won't have, you won't live life with any regrets whatsoever because you decided to do this business model. And so that right there is going to basically help you move forward into whatever other venture you decide to get into. So again, if you decide to do this business model, try to enjoy it a bit. I mean, don't get me wrong, nothing's enjoyable about polybagging up, freaking product, sticking the label, dealing with IP complaints and all that stuff. I mean, no lie, okay? Stuff like that can happen. And so it's not as enjoyable as some of these gurus make it seem to be. But I guarantee for a lot of you, if you just stick to it, give it a few shots and whatnot, and actually just enjoy the process, you will enjoy this business model and you will stick with it. But this is one of the reasons why most Amazon sellers will quit within their first year. It's just not enjoying the model. Now, the next reason most Amazon sellers will quit in their first year, and I've seen this multiple times, unfortunately, and it's really hard and it really sucks for me to hear, when people quit because of this reason exactly, is cash flow issues, okay? Listen, guys, being an Amazon seller means that you are in a cash flow business, okay? That means you need to spend money to make money and so on and so forth, okay? That means you need to keep cash flow in your bank account in order to pay off credit cards, debt, or just, pay for inventory alone. And so a lot of sellers, what ends up happening is that they over leverage themselves. They see a good $10,000, $20,000, in revenue per month, and then they want to take it to the next level, right? They only have so much limited capital to their name, and so they want to take it to the next level. They get offered a loan from Amazon, let's say another 20,000. They take it, they spend it all, and then next thing you know, next comes the credit card statement. You're not able to pay it all completely off. You start paying interest. You start not even meeting the minimum payment that it's requiring you to pay. And so you really shoot yourself in the leg by overextending yourself and not having a game plan in order to pay off some of this debt or whatever it may be, right? And so that's why you need to be very careful. You need to study the market, study the keeper charts, and inform yourself as much as possible so that you can make the smartest decisions when it comes to buying inventory. Because a lot of sellers, they'll do this in the beginning where they take a loan way too early, and they're still learning. They're still in that process of trying to learn some of these trends, trying to learn how the seller count matters, how the graphs look, how they perform. And so they're not fully experienced, and then taking out a loan on top of that, especially thousands of dollars, I mean, it really puts you in a grave that can really be hard to get out of. And so a lot of sellers, their cash flow is terrible. They don't see any profits. They don't even see the money to pay off some of these things, and they end up just quitting because it becomes a huge mess. And again, I've seen that multiple times from a few sellers myself that I've spoken with, and it's just it's sad. I mean, I really wish those sellers had really had taken the time to really manage their cash flow. Okay, just one advice: it's okay to grow slow. Okay, there's no need to rush your growth with this business so much. Especially if you're not sure what you're doing 100%. Now, for more experienced sellers, yes, obviously you guys can take out some of those loans and mitigate that risk. But for a lot of you, please take your time. Don't overextend yourself. Don't let those orange bars that you see on social media get to you and try to compare yourself to them, okay? It is not worth your business going out of business just to look cool, all right? So please be careful. Which brings me to my next tip on why most Amazon sellers will quit, and that's the comparison of others, okay? Listen, guys, it comes down to a lot of insecurity and whatnot, back to high school shit and stuff, And so what happens is that, let's say I begin my Amazon journey, and then Bob over there begins his Amazon journey. I make $10,000 a month. He makes $100,000 a month. Both at the same time that we started. And so what ends up happening is that certain sellers, they'll get very discouraged because they see this seller, did X amount of money versus what they did, and it gets very discouraging, very disappointing, and just it unmotivates you when you want to grow your business and you see someone else grow much faster than you, especially in the same time, or maybe even half the time. And, it just stops you from kind of thinking like, oh, I'm doing something wrong, obviously, right? That I'm not able to do this business successfully, that I'm not doing something right. This person's obviously better than me. And then next thing you know, someone ends up quitting because they didn't scale so fast. And so that's a problem because, you shouldn't be, comparing yourself to anybody else, because at the end of the day, we all have our different situations, our own problems, our own capital. Someone who did way more than you probably had more access to capital than you. And so that's a huge factor that plays into there as well, okay? Versus someone like me or someone like that, where we had to save up from our 9 to 5, a little bit, as much money as we can, and really just start with what we could, right? So don't compare yourself, stick to your own journey. And I guarantee you guys will do very well, but please don't let this be one of the reasons why you quit. But sadly, it really is why some sellers will quit. And the number one reason why most Amazon sellers will quit this business model is just impatience. People are way too impatient of actually sticking to a business model and actually putting in the time, putting in the work, and letting their business grow, okay? And again, it comes back down to basically all the tips I laid out earlier. People see other people scale very fast, and if they don't see themselves growing that fast themselves, well, then they just end up quitting because they're like, oh, well, I didn't do something right. Obviously, this is not working. And, it's just, the truth is, you got to just put in the time, put in the work, and actually stick with this business model, okay? You need to actually put the focus, energy, time into this business model, make it work, learn the ropes, continue with it, and just keep learning and growing, okay? There's no shortcuts to this business, okay, guys? Aside from hiring a mentor or someone like that to help guide you, okay? But as far as everything else, there's just no shortcuts. You need to learn the game, and you really need to actually take the time to, grow your business, all right? Now, I know I sound like a broken record and whatnot, but it's just the honest truth, and it's just something that you guys need to know, up front, because if not, then you're going to be very disappointed when you realize that you don't make $1 million from this in 1 month with the $1,000 investment, okay? That's just going to be literally impossible to flip 1,000 to 1 million in 1 month doing this, okay? It's just very impossible. Hopefully you guys set realistic expectations when it comes to doing this business model, okay? So please don't listen to what some of these gurus are telling you that you're gonna scale fast, and actually take the time, because I guarantee if you take the time and put the energy, you will succeed and you won't have to quit like everybody else does, all right? Anyways, guys, those are my top reasons why most Amazon sellers will quit within their first year. Again, it's a huge percentage that does quit. I've seen it from time to time. It's sad, like I said. I mean, it really does suck, because I do wish everybody does succeed in this business model, but it's business. It happens. I mean, not everybody is meant to succeed in this business model. Otherwise, everybody would be doing it. So if you're willing to, push through everything I just mentioned earlier, you're willing to go through it, go through the pain, put in the work, put in the time, you guys will do absolutely perfect. You will do perfectly fine. Just hang in there and I guarantee you guys will see some success. All right, no doubt. All right, like literally, if you're persistent with this business model, that's really all you need to do to be successful in this business model. It's just staying patient and just continue learning and growing. All right, but aside from that, guys, that is it for this video. I will see you on the next one, and as always, peace.